Member Jung?
Here.
Member Kim?
Present by proxy.
Member Lacroix? Member Leviton? Member Lowe?
Present.
Member Mahogany? Member Mandelman? Member Maxwell?
Here.
Member Norton is excused. Member Peskin?
Present by proxy.
And our ex-official members, U.S. Senator Feinstein? Okay, U.S. Rep.
Rachel Norton, I'm sorry, I was talking here. Excuse me, I'm here. She's here.
Okay. U.S. Representative Pelosi? Representative Spear? Board of Equalization Member Ma?
Present by proxy.
State Senator Wiener?
Here.
Assembly Member Ting?
Here.
And Assembly Member Chu?
Here.
We have four. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is approval of the meeting agenda. And colleagues, do we have any changes? Thank you.
Second.
Okay, so Maxwell moved to approve and Zuka moved as a second. Is there any discussion on that? All right. Can we move on information that's approved? Thank you. Approved. Okay, the agenda, and now we have approval of the meeting minutes. I'm sorry, did I say wrong the first time? I did reverse it. No, so sorry. So, what was the agenda? Now we need approval of the meeting minutes. Maxwell? Move to approve, any seconds?
Second.
Second from Baraka. Okay, colleagues can take that by acclamation. Thank you. Seeing no objection, the minutes are approved. And then now we get to general public comments, and I have received two this more coming through. We have 1 minute, and colleagues, since there's not that many people here, I've been asked if we can move it to 2 minutes per person. Is there any objection to making it 2 minutes per person? Seeing no objection, we're going to move to 2 minutes per person, and I'd like to call, first one is Susan Pfeiffer. Susan here? Yep. Okay. Hunter Cuddy. Paul Monty. Oh, sorry, okay, that better? 2 minutes. Saul Albert. A comment, people get the microphone.
Now it's on. Better with the microphone.
There you go. Go ahead.
Susan Pfeiffer. I'm reporting under Democracy Action tonight. First, I wanted to update on the monthly New Citizens Voter Registration event. It was April 19th in Oakland, and thanks to Adam and Keith for helping us with that. We, with the 2 ceremonies, we have registered an estimated 245 new voters. We are getting about 35 volunteers per shift, thanks to Swing Left, who is feeding us a lot of volunteers, learning to register voters before they go to CA 10 and 21. And the next event is May 3rd. It's coming up pretty soon, so we want to fill that up. Next item is Democracy Action. Weekly phone banks are continuing. Okay.
Can I just ask a question about your voter registration? Are there sufficient volunteers, or do you need more volunteers at the voter registration events?
Right now, we don't, but that's because Swing Left is sending us, we're getting about 50 sign-ups and about 35 showing up, but some of them are regulars, and I encourage anyone to sign up. And it's on the demaction.us is the sign-up place. So thanks for asking. We always want new people. It's a wonderful event. The phone banks are continuing. We, of course, worked on the Arizona 08, which we pulled within 5 points last night, which is historic. And we've been continuing to make calls into CA10, again, working with Swing Left. And thanks to Mary Jung for giving us her office space to do that on Saturdays. And we promised her that we would only do it till June 5th. So that brings up my last item, is working on a coordinated campaign office in San Francisco. There's a committee that's been formed with members Sophie Maxwell and Mary Joan, Alec Bash, myself from Democracy Action, and Austin Hunter from Rock the Congress, and he was also a field organizer for the Hillary primary in San Francisco. Mary's helping us to find and identify potential sites and assess all of the costs and what we need. And the committee is meeting weekly. Our next job is to work on fundraising ideas, and we're going to need the DCCC to help us be creative on that. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Who's next? So if you could please line up with the next person, Hunter Cutting. Sure. Is there a Hunter Cutting here? Am I saying that wrong? Oh, there you are. Okay.
Hi, I'm Hunter Cutting. I'm a parent here in San Francisco. And you remember I came and spoke to you a while back about a resolution that's been introduced to the Board of Supervisors to protect Clipper Cove out on Treasure Island. And I'm here today because I want to let you know that a committee hearing and vote has been scheduled for Monday. And just to remind you a little bit, Clipper Cove is kind of a special place. It's the largest, most protected, and most scenic cove on the bay in the entire city of San Francisco. And it's pretty special because it has the only community sailing center in the entire place. It's the only place where you can learn to sail if you don't belong to the private yacht club in the city. Every year, about 1,500 fourth graders participate in the science and sailing STEM program on the coast. It's a really special and safe, beautiful place. Unfortunately, those same qualities have attracted the attention of real estate developers who want to build a private luxury marina in the cove. It sounds like a terrible idea, and a lot of people agree. That plan is opposed by San Francisco Baykeeper, it's opposed by the Coalition of San Francisco Neighborhoods, it's opposed by the Friends of the Sailing Center, it's opposed by United Educators, it's opposed by Coleman Advocates for Youth, and many others. Fortunately, we do have a resolution to protect the cove. It's endorsed by Save the Bay, it's endorsed by U.S. Sailing, the national governing body for the sport of sailing in the United States. So if you have a chance, please reach out to the supervisors who will be voting on Monday, Supervisor Safai, Supervisor Tang, and Supervisor Kim. And please urge them to support this resolution. It's a really special place and we should keep it for our kids. Thank you.
Before our next speaker, I think there's some other people who, members who have joined us. Can you identify yourself, Carl, as present?
Senator Feinstein's
Yes, Senator Feinstein.
name.
And there's my okay. Is there anyone else who's joined us? Who's joined us today? Colleen. Okay, great, thank you. So the next person was Paul Monte, and one of you can please sign up, and then after him is Saul, or Sal Albert. Sully, I'm sorry, Sully Albert. Neil, is it a painting? All right. So good.
Great, so good evening, members of the DCCC. My name is Paul Bonke. And this year I have the tremendous privilege of serving on the University of California Board of Regents as the sole student representative who's there to advocate on behalf of 270,000 students across the state of California, some of which you'll be hearing from a little bit later on this evening. When the University of California was originally conceived, we made a promise to the residents of California that each of them could afford and access a quality public higher education. However, after decades of declining state investment, that this promise has become hollowed out over time. And today, UC students contribute more to the operating budget of the University of California system than the state does through general fund dollars. And we as students see and feel the effects of this state disinvestment every single day. We have students who are waiting in the aisles because there's not sufficient course offerings. We have students who are being crammed 4 and 5 at a time into single dormitories because there's not sufficient housing facilities. We have students who are waiting months at a time to see mental health counselors because there's not enough resources to fully staff our counseling services. Now the situation is really dire on the UC campuses, but this year we have an opportunity to change that. This year we have an opportunity to finally make good on the promise that we made to Californians by really focusing on how we can reinvest this additional $6 billion in surplus funding. As we speak, the legislature is deliberating how and where to direct this funding, and we say to the legislature, invest in us, invest in the future of California's workforce, invest in the future public leadership of our state. We, as San Franciscans, have a direct stake in making sure that the UC and the CSU are both adequately funded. Here in San Francisco, we are home to both the University of California, San Francisco, and the San Francisco State University. Not to mention the fact that every single year, hundreds of our graduates from our local public high schools in San Francisco and City College of San Francisco go on to attend UC and CSU campuses. I think we have an opportunity to really demonstrate our robust commitment to the future of UC students and CSU students by supporting and approving the proposal that is before you today. So I really look forward to you all hearing additional comments from the students, and I'll turn it over to them. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Sully Alpert. I'm born and raised in San Francisco. I graduated Lowell High School, and now I'm at UC Berkeley, where I'm the political director for the Cal Berkeley Democrats. And I wanted to tell you guys about part of the way that the lack of funding in the UC really makes worse our housing crisis here in the Bay Area. We know, obviously, that we are in a very serious crisis, but it's especially bad around areas where their UC students don't have this housing. So, especially at UC Berkeley. The UC Berkeley has the lowest ratio of house students out of any UC in the United States. And that puts immense pressure on the housing market around the university. It drives out our poor residents and our residents of color especially, with the same problem in San Francisco. And so it's a problem not just for our students, but also for the entire community. We know that students, that we have a homeless student union at Berkeley because there are homeless students at Berkeley, which is it's not a thing that you should hear. Right? Students shouldn't have to worry about where or if they're going to have a bed when they also have to worry about finals. We're trying to raise the next generation of the people who will be sitting at this table someday, and they shouldn't have to worry about homelessness. So please, we encourage you to vote yes on the resolution calling for fully funding the UC system, and also to reach out to our Assembly Member Phil King. He sits on the budget committee and will be hearing this item, and we'd love to make sure that he knows that we really appreciate fully funding the higher education system here in San Francisco. So thank you very much.
Hi, I hope you're all doing well. I'm also a student from UC Berkeley. I transferred from De Anza Community College in the South Bay. I am here to encourage support for item 10 in support of our ask for $140 million in state funding for the UC. And this is to pay for long overdue funding for faculty hiring, academic counseling, mental health services, grad student support, classroom facilities, deferred maintenance because our schools are literally falling apart, like UC Berkeley, now celebrating 150 years of age, but also celebrating 150 years of no air conditioning. And in lieu of a tuition increase this coming May as the Regents meeting approaches. So I know many of you are from the Bay Area or have extensive connections to the area. I myself have lived in the area for most of my life. And thus you're well aware the UC system is not just integral to the state, but to our own Bay Area with UCSF here, as well as UC Berkeley. The problem in pillars of education like UC Berkeley, where I'm from, or within these pillars of education, our schools are literally falling apart. I walk through like our main plazas and there are just lampposts like on the ground, elevators broken, AC machines broken. Sometimes students enter classrooms and chairs break when they sit down. I don't think this is unacceptable when we're fostering the #1 public education system in the country. And also, in the ASUC, which is our student government, I kind of advocate for transfer students, recognizing that they're disproportionately lower income and don't always have access to the same opportunities. And as we take in more states, and we UC takes in more students who are lower income, who come from diverse backgrounds, it's important that we also make sure we have the resources to properly accommodate them and not just make sure that they get there. So thank you very much.
Okay, I'm also going to speak a little bit about ACE. So yeah, thank you for having me here. Thank you for being here, actually listening to me. My name is Ferris. I'm a junior studying political science. I transferred from Berkeley City College, and I'm very proud that I went through this path. So I also participate in student government in the ACC and CalDEMS. I came here today even though during the last few days of classes, I have 3 papers due, I have 2 different projects, and I still have to focus on my work study job. So I'm here because it's important that I advocate advocate for myself, for my friends, and my classmates. So I'm very proud to call myself a Golden Bear, being part of the #1 public university in the world. Unfortunately, it's very embarrassing to say that we don't have properly working classrooms. I was in a class last semester where it was about 90 degrees outside, but inside somehow it was about 96 to 100 degrees, and there was no AC working. That classroom was not used at all, but unfortunately we had to use it, and it was the worst experience of my UC Berkeley experience. So there's also classes, Philip, during enrollment date was very near. It was a Monday, and unfortunately I wasn't able to pick classes that I wanted because there are so many students who don't get to pick classes they want, and that's not something that should happen in the #1 public university. Rising tuition is unfortunately inevitable, and we need to fully fund our school. There's no better investment, and I encourage you to support item 10 because students should not be worried about their basic needs, but the Berkeley academics because it's very stressful. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kylie Murdoch. I'm a second-year student at UC Berkeley and part of the state legislative team of the Associated Students of the University of California, which is Berkeley student government. I urge you to support the resolution tonight to fully fund the University of California system. The UC was founded on the principle of affordability, however, it is no longer affordable. 48% of UC students experience food insecurity, meaning they skip meals or eat unbalanced meals due to lack of money. 10% of students will experience homelessness at some point in their college career. The cost of college isn't just tuition. Students have to pay rent, pay for food, pay for books, and pay for transportation. Berkeley is currently in a major housing crisis. My 2-bedroom apartment costs $3,200 a month. Students can't focus on academics when they're worried about where they're going to eat or where they're going to sleep at night. The UC Regents are voting on increasing in-state tuition by $342 in May. $342 is 3 months of food, a semester's worth of books. $342 means a lot to us. Part of our $140 million ask would buy out this tuition increase. Please support an affordable and accessible UC. Please support the resolution to support fully funding UC. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker. Are you Sarah?
Yes.
Okay. Just a moment before you start. Trevor Martin, if you can line up, please. Curtis Wu, Susan Solomon, and Trey. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Sarah Abdushayan. I'm a second-year student at UC Berkeley. And over the past semester, I've been leading efforts to increase funding for our institution. We have been making almost weekly trips up to Sacramento with delegations of around 20 to 40 students to make sure that the legislature understands our needs before they make decisions that impact us directly. Today, I urge you to support fully funding the University of California, which is item 10 on your agenda. The UC was founded 150 years ago on the principle of accessibility. However, our tuition has increased by over 300% in the past 15 years. But don't get me wrong, tuition increases are not due to administrative bloat, but they are due to a lack of state investment in the UC. It is difficult to call ourselves the #1 public institution in the world when we contribute more to the core funds of the UC than the state does. We are the primary financial stakeholders in the UC, but we also struggle with housing and food insecurity, funding for our own student organizations, and deferred maintenance. I urge you to support our budget ask, which consists of a $140 million increase to the governor's proposed budget because it is necessary for the state to fund the sanctioned enrollment increases. It is necessary to support our ask because a lack of state funding means we now rely on increasing the enrollment of out-of-state students. It is necessary to support this because we contribute to the state 7 times as much as the state invests in us. It is necessary to invest in us so we don't only survive but we thrive, and it is necessary to fund the UC. Please support our budget ask by passing item 10 and by joining us on urging the state to increase UC funding by 4%. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Good evening. My name is Trevor Martin. I'm the treasurer of the San Francisco Learning Credits, and I'm a member of the Public Bank SF Coalition. I'm here to show support for item number 11, the resolution to urge a municipal bank. We urge the San Francisco Board of Supervisors, Mayor, and Treasurer to divest its approximately $10 million cash flow from private banks and create a public bank for San Francisco. We want our taxpayer money to go into the community, and not to profits for Wall Street. We need a public bank that will operate with principles of equity, with social, racial, economic, and environmental justice. Taxpayer money currently goes to big banks that engage in social and environmental destructive practices, from predatory lending to low-income communities of color, to funding fossil fuel extraction, funding firearm manufacturers, prisons, mass incarceration, and charging the city high interest rates, loans for retrofitting our schools, hospitals, and improving our community environment. It's clear that big banks are here to make money for local shareholders and not for the benefit of those of us living here in San Francisco. And a public bank would allow the city to have more local control, transparency, and allow us to move in a direction to achieve sustainable community investments. So I thank Keith Baraka for introducing this resolution. I thank Supervisor Buick for coming into our event today and speaking. Very insightful and inspiring. And I thank you very much, and I urge you to pass this resolution number 11. And I give support for item 10 as well.
No thanks for me?
We love Supervisor Cohen as well. We wish you could have seen you there as well. Thank you for all you've done on this as well.
Thank you.
And thank you for what you've done.
Thank you so much.
Too late now. Too late. Go.
I was going to say thank you. I missed you today, Supervisor Collins. Okay, I start now. Okay. So my name is Curtis. As Trevor mentioned, I'm with the Public Bank SF Coalition. Just a little background on this coalition. We've been meeting over the last year with a coalition of groups to discuss the issue of public banking. These groups include SFD Fundapple, SF Burning Cracks, Democratic Socialists of America, SF Rising, California Faculty Association, SF State Chapter, SF Tenants Union, ACE, among other groups. We are working really closely to push our city to divest its $10 billion from Wall Street. Simply put, because these banks invest in things that do not align with our values. And Trevor really talked about more of the social justice. Even if you don't care about any of the social justice issues from a fiscally conservative standpoint, it saves taxpayers money. So we are wasting money by not maximizing our dollars. So I encourage you all to support this resolution. We just came from a day of action. We had about 70 people from supported from Carver Milk Club. Actually, just recently passed a resolution. Sorry, I'm a little tired because I've been saying a lot. I have 1 minute. Okay. So yeah, I just really encourage you to, I want to thank Keith Braca, Supervisor Cohen, Supervisor Fewer. Every supervisor actually last year voted to pass the resolution to create this task force. I really like the language in the task force that it says that they need to create a pathway to a public bank. We heard a lot about Occupy when they said this is how we want to break up the big banks. This is the solution, right? This is the end game to breaking up the big banks. There's more and more local cities with billions of dollars of cash flow to divest and create their own municipal banks. So thank you so much. I hope we get a unanimous resolution passed.
Thank you. Next speaker, please. And if you just need a moment, I also want to call up Gabriela Lopez, Allison Collins, is it Arian? Ashley Kova, and Julie Roberts Fung. Thank you. Next speaker.
Good evening, I'm Susan Solomon, Executive Vice President of the United Educators of San Francisco, and I'm speaking about the resolution on charter schools in San Francisco County. So we are now experiencing what many other cities have experienced already, and that is a lot of pressure from corporate charter schools to come into San Francisco. We have some charter schools here, but not many. Some of them are actually unionized. But as you can see in the resolves, we need to have accountability and transparency from charter schools that matches what public schools are meant to do and should do. We need to keep corporate charter school money out of elections. It changes, they have so much money. So most people here, I think, have heard of Innovate Public Schools. So they are neither innovative nor are they public. It's a front for charter schools. And other speakers will cover other things. One thing in particular that really disturbs me is they target, and they use the word target, by the way, they target certain students.
They target black and brown students. They target students living in Southeast and Bayview and Hunters Point. The schools, the public schools in those neighborhoods are struggling. There are students there with tremendous challenges. We are moving closer to meeting those challenges. Some of those schools are under-enrolled. Moving a charter school into those neighborhoods means taking students out of those schools. And we, as you can see in the resolution, also support community schools. DCYF just gave the school district a really large grant to develop public community schools in many of our schools. Proposition G would give $2.7 million a year, which can be used towards community schools. That is what we need. We don't need schools to be, charter schools to be co-located with schools. Mary L. Booker, you'll hear more about later. Thank you. Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ken Trey. I'm a retired social studies teacher, although it doesn't quite feel like it, from SFUSD, and still on the executive board of United Educators of San Francisco. When I started teaching in 1985, the charter school movement as such was actually launched to a great degree by Albert Shanker, who was the head of the American Federation of Teachers. The original idea of charter schools is that they would be laboratories to, in fact, experiment, innovate, and see what works with the goal of creating programs that can be replicated in the general public school system. What we have today is something radically different. Charter schools, in a fundamental sense, are trying to bring market-based policy to what is the most fundamental of all public goods, which is our public schools. Mary Booker Charter School, and I learned this last night from Julie, who's going to be speaking in a while. This is an out-of-town outfit. 7 of their 9 members of the Board of Governors do not live in San Francisco. And this school, their plan, their ask, but it's really a demand, because under current charter school legislation, school districts have really little say over what happens with charter schools. So their demand is to co-locate with Malcolm X Elementary School, Mary Booker Middle High School. So here we have kids struggling to succeed academically, the elementary school kids. And if you could imagine a school from K to 12 in a not that large of a building, it's a crazy idea. No democratically elected school board, I don't think in the country, would propose what they're doing. And that's just a small example of what charter school means on the ground.
Thank you. It's time. You could do a little louder. It's fine. Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hello, my name is Gabriela Lopez, and I am a teacher in SFUSD. I am a child of immigrants and the first in my family to go to college. I went to public schools my whole life, and I'm working in a public school, and I've also worked in charter school with co-location. I've never seen meaningful cooperation between public schools and charter schools in any of those positions. Classism and division is what is holding immigrant communities back. Charter schools further divide these communities. If immigrant communities and communities of color are going to overcome the achievement gap, we cannot let ourselves be divided. Co-location is the epitome of division. There is no innovation happening in charter schools that cannot happen and is not already happening in public schools. If you want to see innovation, arts integration, come into my classroom. If you want to see restorative justice, come into my classroom. If you want to see innovative math, come into my classroom. But don't come to my classroom and tell me that dividing my community is what's going to help our kids and our families and make progress. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hello, my name is Arian Adamchikova. I'm a SFUSD parent, and I'm a Spanish teacher and a newcomer student teacher down in San Mateo High School. I am here because 4 years ago, I was looking for a middle school for my child, and I went to visit, because I'm very curious, I went to visit Gateway Middle School. that they do not have an ELD program. They told all the parents there that they do not have a special ed program. Now this is illegal, and this is not what we do as public school teachers. We accept every single child. We serve every single need. We do not discriminate. We do not segregate. Democrat Party across the country has been manipulated by the right on charter schools, and we need to stop that, and we need to stop it in San Francisco. We have tons and tons of private money coming all the way with connections to Betsy DeVos, with Innovate Public Schools, with money from the Walton Foundation and many other foundations with a right-wing ideology that are coming in, and they are targeting our low-income families that are desperate for the best solution for their kids. And the best solution is not a charter school with brand new teachers that are only going to last 1 to 2 years in a classroom, teachers that are uncredentialed. We need credentialed, experienced teachers that make a professional living, and we need to fully fund schools in this city and in California. We have an apartheid state. I make $30,000 more because I teach in a basic aid district in San Mateo. Now, if we are losing teachers and students to other places, it is because we need to fully fund education in California and in San Francisco. Charter schools are not the answer. They create division, segregation, a divisive community, communities, people looking for people to share space. This is not okay. Please support the resolution. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Is the mic on? The mic's off.
Yeah, it sounds like it's not really working. Hello?
Hi, my name is Allison Collins. I'm a 20-year-plus educator. I work in San Francisco Unified. I'm currently an SFUSD parent and very active member of the African American Parent Advisory Council, so I have a lot of connections with families in the Bayview. I was invited to speak recently at an education roundtable at Sacramento in support of SB 1362, introduced by San Jose State Senator Bell. It is intended to give districts local control and more transparency around the districts that are the schools that are operating in their districts, and specifically to ensure that charters serve all students, and specifically special education students who are often pushed out of charters. And I have personal experience with this. I worked in a charter in Oakland with Envision Oakland, and I witnessed us push out an autistic boy who we had no intention of serving, to the point where we just, repeatedly suspended him and then told his family that college wasn't a good environment for him. So I wanted to speak specifically to what Ken Trey had mentioned. We're seeing Innovate is coming in, and they're specifically targeting Black and brown communities. Flyers, they're full of Black and brown faces, which is extremely offensive to me because they're basically not accountable to the communities that they're saying that they serve. Currently, we have MEC Mission Education Center, which serves newcomer Spanish-speaking families, and we also have Malcolm X, are both under attack from two charters that are demanding space within their buildings. Those communities do not want them. And Barry Booker is now currently asking for space, and I spoke directly with the principal of that school. He says they're looking specifically at Malcolm X, Carver, and Willie Brown. Carver and Willie Brown were recently rebuilt at millions of dollars of taxpayer expense, and they're looking for prime real estate in San Francisco. And I just wanted to finish by saying, leaving a quote. This is Death by 1,000 Cuts. It is from the Voices Journey for Justice Alliance. It says, all of these changes have been implemented despite widespread and passionate opposition from the affected communities. Time and time again, the extraordinary wealth and power behind these policies have been used to override the will of our communities, to bully our communities into accepting these changes. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please. And before your time starts running, can Anita Fisher line up? Dara Bernstein, Corey Smith, Alex, I think it's Alex Bash. Those are all the cards I have. If you want to speak, there's some cards out there to sign up. Thank you.
to schools, period. We found that of that, 2 out of $3 went to private and charter schools. So we've been working to correct that. I want to speak about the impact that the KIPP Charter School Network has had in this neighborhood. Reading and Chamberlain Community School both have a hard time keeping 4th and 5th graders because KIPP and a private school in the neighborhood recruit those students from our schools. These are students who love our schools, but KIPP tells them that they have to apply early in order to get in. And even though they have plenty of space, if you look at their enrollment, they are not fully enrolled through the 5th, 6th, and 7th grades. So what that's meant is that we've had a drop in our budget. We've had cuts in our school budgets for the past 2 years, and our school serves 97% families of color. We have 25 different languages spoken at our school, and a lot of our families are immigrants, refugees from Yemen, or from Latin America. So these charter school networks that say that they want to serve kids of color are actually hurting the public schools that serve the vast majority of our kids of color. It's also bad for party politics. You may have heard that in LA, there was $14 million spent on school board elections. That would be the budget of our elementary school for 14 years. And we've already seen that by December, candidates in the school board election have raised twice as much as many raised over the entire election cycle last year. So we do not want to see charter money coming into politics in San Francisco. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Alita Fisher, and I'm here speaking as the chair of the Community Advisory Committee for Special Education within San Francisco Unified School District. As most of you likely know, the special education local plan areas are state mandated. Every school district and a single district SELPA, like San Francisco, has a parent oversight committee. I'm the chair. The district cannot submit its local plan or its budget to the state without my signature. We have a huge amount of oversight. We work collaboratively with our district, and we have a great relationship that helps support students with special needs in our district. Unfortunately, of all the charter schools in the district, we only have 4 that choose to participate in our SELPA. The KIPPs, the Innovates, they choose to be part of a SELPA east of Sacramento, where parent oversight means a conference call once a quarter. You type your comments into a chat box as a webinar and hear nothing back, ever, from the management team. Collaboration is an incredibly important part of teamwork when you have an IEP, an individualized education plan, because your child has special needs. And it's very important for parents to have oversight. Unfortunately, most of our charter schools don't offer that. And if anyone's interested in the CAC's official statement, I'm happy to provide it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next speaker. I'm sorry. What now?
You all mentioned that they're targeting Black and brown students. Yes. Why do you think that is? Why do you think they would be targeting those students?
Can you use the microphone, please? Because Proposition 39 allows for charters to demand space in schools, and schools where my children go are full. In North Beach,
told they have some sample sizes that are too small to really, I have 2 girls that are, in one whole school that are black. If one of them scores, both of them score well on a test, it's 100%, right? So they're showing data in a way that's.
So you're saying that that's not true, that our kids are doing,
Our
black and
kids-
brown children are doing quite well.
No, I'm not
Because
saying that they're
being
doing-
educated well, and so therefore.
They're misrepresenting their own data. So what they're doing is they're saying we're better when the actual research says they do the same, and in ways that they do worse is they don't serve students with special needs, undocumented, newcomer students, and they don't serve low-income students. And what we're seeing at KIPP is that there's data that shows when they come in 5th grade, by the time they're in 8th grade, there's a 60% attrition rate. That means they lose 60% of their students over time. And they are not sharing data with the district around who those students are that they're dropping off. You see them coming back into our schools, but they're not reporting on the subgroups, which would show, I'm assuming that a lot of those students are students that are harder to educate. And they have a 2 times higher rate of suspensions. This is KIPP data that they shared with the district, yet they have 0 expulsions. And that is very concerning to me as an educator, because there's, out of 4 years, out of 3 schools, there's going to be some kids that are going to have to be expelled. What that indicates is that they are being denied due process, and we are hearing from parent after parent after parent that they're basically counseled out. They're told, this is not good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Can I talk to what the school is, what the district is doing itself?
Sure, go ahead.
Sorry, since the question was asked, the district actually does recognize that there's a huge achievement gap.
Thank you.
And one of the things, the recent initiatives that's been put forth by the highest level superintendent, by the leadership team, is the African American Achievement and Leadership Initiative. That's been an initiative that's been led for the past 3 years, focusing specifically on data and very targeted opportunities to improve African American performance within the district with the students. I'm an adoptive parent of African American children, so this is an issue that's near and dear to my heart as well, 2 of whom have disabilities. And my daughter attends Mission High School, and the leadership team, the support services, the ethnic studies classes, just the wraparound services that she's being offered to make sure that not only does she graduate, but she gets to a 4-year college, are heartwarming. There's been an African American Parent Advisory Committee that's been formed to help African American parents engage, and the voice of African American parents is now being considered. One of the requests that the APAC has made is to get African American representation into our educational placement center so that families feel comfortable registering and have someone who can help and be much more culturally responsive. Those are just, I can keep going, but I figured that would be it.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. All right.
I could talk to the English language learner data as well. If anybody's
No, I think she's good. Thank you so much. Okay. Speaker, please.
Good evening, committee members. I'm here from the United Democratic Club. Our club's motto is do the work, and our 600 plus members have certainly stepped up to do that this quarter. Just wanted to give you a heads up of what we've been doing for the last 4 months. Over the last 4 months, we've hosted 6 educational panels on transit, cannabis, housing, gun rights, or taking away gun rights. We've had 8 days of action from local nonprofits and our endorsed candidates, including lobbying day in Sacramento with Moms Demand Action. We've hosted free fundraisers for local nonprofits, including the Cooperative Restraining Order Clinic, which provides pro bono legal services to mostly women who are seeking restraining orders against their abusers. We've also donated money to North Bay Fire Relief and City Youth Now. What was really exciting last month, we did a fundraiser for Judge Dowlett. We took the fight straight to the Koch brothers. Judge Dowlett was running in the state of Wisconsin, the Supreme Court. Judge Dowlett, at our fundraiser, a Republican came into our private invite-only fundraiser, recorded the fundraiser, sent the files to the Wisconsin GOP, who then blasted them across radio in Wisconsin, put them out on motorized cable cars all throughout the state on election day, and she still won by 12 points. She kicked out Scott Walker's placed incumbent Republican scumbag. So that's what we've been doing lately. We continue our Politics 101 monthly series. Tomorrow we're taking on the road and doing it at City College, and we're going to continue to take it out to colleges and to companies and doing lunchrooms. It's important that our young people moving to San Francisco understand that there are 11 supervisors and board supervisors. A lot of them don't know that. And finally, next Thursday we have Dance for a Cause. It's our annual benefit. All the ticket sales go to the Young Women's Freedom Center, and we hope that you all come by. Thank you very much. Good afternoon.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hello, members. Corey Smith, President of the United Democratic Club. I actually want to start off by apologizing for taking so long to come here and formally say hello. I was waiting on the meeting this year. I take the responsibility for getting nobody. And really, that's the word responsibility. You know, Derek kind of mentioned there's a lot of young folks, a lot of people my age who have absolutely no idea what's going on. I remember talking to one friend when mentioning after the mayor passed away that somebody else is in charge and I agreed. And they go, oh, I don't know him. What's he like? And so it just flies over the head of so many people. So I think that's number one thing that I know when I think about this opportunity that lies ahead of me. I wasn't a Democrat until 2015. I was still left of the party. I was not infatuated with the party. I didn't think it stood for the values that I had as an individual. I made the decision, especially getting involved in San Francisco, to actually get involved, to work within the party and move it to the left. And so with our club as a whole, me as an individual, you know, I really do take that as an honor. I'm very, very proud of the work that we do, the work that we will continue to do. I look forward to working with you.
Quick question, you referenced, what's the opportunity lying ahead of you?
To engage young people in the process of politics. And beyond the local level, state level.
Thank you so much. Next speaker, please.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members. My name is Alec Bash. I'm here to talk about open source voting systems, paper ballots. We have been operating with a secret proprietary source code and voting systems for a long time. The time is running out. Many people believe that it actually ran out in the last election, 2016. The Obama White House, NASA, Department of Defense have all been moving towards open source code voting systems, not actually voting systems, but open source coding and the work that we do. The Board of Supervisors in San Francisco has unanimously endorsed this in the past, as has the Elections Commission, and I believe as has this body here. Initial work is underway. The California Clean Money Campaign has really stepped in on this and is actually just starting this, working with Assemblyman Chu and State Senator Wiener to look for state matching grants for any monies that San Francisco might put into this, and we are very pleased to have the support of the Board of Supervisors, Budget Chair Elliot Cohen in this regard. Thank you. And on May 6th, Sunday, we're going to have a campaign kickoff for this. We would encourage members of this committee to come. There's a flyer on the table about this. We would also urge you to calendar for the future something reaffirming your past support for this and indicating support for this very specific proposal that we're working on in the California Clean Money Campaign. And we'd also urge you to have your executive director send out information on this to the listing of the San Francisco Democratic Clubs. Thank you very much for all your past efforts and everything else that you do.
Thank you. Are there any other public comment? All right, seeing none, public comment is now closed. Thank you. So the next item on the agenda is number 5, updates from organizations involved in resistance activities. As Supervisor Maxwell. For discussion and possible action. So,
Colleagues, thank you very much. As you know, last week we partnered with the Labor Council and with Working America to go to District 10
CD10 and the resto. And I want to thank my colleagues. I want to thank Fatima for getting out the word to our clubs, and I want to thank Peter for getting out the words to all of us. And we had 7 volunteers that responded, and I thought, hey, that's pretty good. I was really pleased. But they didn't get there, but they responded, and we thought that was really good. But I wrote to remind you all, and it was very good. We did a lot of good work. People were very receptive to what we were talking about, which was basically issues. But I want to remind all of us that when they say swing left, that we are the left they're talking about, as Democrats. And when they say from blue, red to blue, we're the blue, in whatever hue they're talking about. And when they talk about rock the Congress, I don't think they're talking about Republicans. I think they're talking about Democrats. So it's important that we are involved and really get out there and show the blue and the left and the rocking. We've got to do all of that. And so with that, I wanted to invite a number of people. I think Alec is going to speak to us again. But I wanted to invite someone from Swing Left. Also in May 5th, there's going to be a day of action. And we need to talk about and think about what our day of action is going to be. So I'd like to invite the actress, Vaughn Schultes, to come up and take a little time to talk to us about really what Swing Left is and what you do and your relationship with the other, with nationally and all of that. Thank you very much for being here.
Hi there. Is it on? It is on. My name is Beatrice Von Schultes. I am the one of the co-leads of Swing Left in San Francisco. Up here like this? Okay. There are Swing Left was the national organization that started at the Thanksgiving after the 2016 election.